So tonight we're gonna have ghost stories around the fire. Are you ready? Tuesday, September 14th, 9 a.m. Last night I sort of freaked out. After I watched the video, I think I had the second moment of real terror in my life. The first was having it happen to me. The second was seeing it. What was Sarah thinking sending this to me? I've been scared before. Actually, let's be honest, I'm scared most of the time. There's a blind man who sits outside the Rainbow Bar, and when I walk by, he follows my every move with a clouded white eye. That scares me. At home, when I hear creaking stairs at night when it should be quiet, and I call out but no one answers, that scares me. The thing living under my bed, Gladys and her shotgun, the woods at night, it all scares me. And it's all like clothes in a dryer that just keep rolling around in my head from one day to the next. But watching that video last night was different. I couldn't even write. I turned on as many lights as I could reach. I turned on the radio and listened to the church channel. Until a man started talking about spiritual warfare, which sharpened my fear even more. The reason the video terrified me was because it made me remember that night. Since it happened, I've had only a fragmented memory, little bits and pieces. But now I remember something more about that night. I remember what I saw that made me fall. It was there in the camera lens at the end. It was watching me. It was always watching me. Tuesday, September 14th, 10:15 a.m. I remember waking up in the hospital, what it was like. One moment I was falling, then I saw Sarah's face hovering in the dim light but couldn't hear what she was trying to say. I felt like the bones in my leg had exploded. Then I was out. When I opened my eyes, I actually expected to see the ceiling of my room and smell my dad's coffee brewing downstairs. My head lolled to one side, and there sat my parents, glassy-eyed from sleeplessness. I remember asking, "What's going on?" And my mom jumping up and saying, "Ryan, go get the nurse. Paul, go on." My dad smiled at me, opened the door, and ran from the room. I heard the muffled sound of him yelling for a nurse outside the door. Mom leaned over the bed rail and held my hand. "Where are we?" I asked. "You had an accident, but you're awake now. You're awake and you're going to be just fine." "How long have I been asleep?" "The nurse, she'll bring the doctor. He'll want to talk to you. Just stay awake. No more sleeping until your dad comes back with the nurse, okay?" She squeezed my hand pretty hard as if it might help keep me from drifting off. At that point, I didn't have any memory of what had happened to me. There were little bits and pieces, but nothing concrete. When the doctor came in, I asked if I could use the bathroom, and he told me that if I wanted to, I could just go ahead and pee. Certain embarrassing arrangements had been made when I was admitted. "How long have I been asleep?" "According to your chart, you were non-responsive when they found you at 12:45 a.m. So, you've been asleep, or more accurately, you've been in an unconscious state for about 55 hours. So you're saying I've been in a coma?" "If you want to be dramatic, then yes, you've been in a coma. You took a pretty good fall. It's amazing you're alive and well enough to tell about it." "Why can't I move my leg?" "Because we surrounded it with a big Bertha, a really big plaster cast. I'm afraid it will be a while before you can walk on it again." I began to fall asleep in the hospital bed. My mom shook my shoulders and yelled at me, and the smell of old bicycle tires went away. I tried harder to stay awake after that because my head hurt, and having my mom shout in my face made it hurt even more. Eventually, they took most of the tubes out of my body, including the one that let me stay in bed to use the bathroom. I took some rides in a wheelchair, and my parents started to talk to me. Talking with them was nice at first because they were truly happy I was okay. But then I asked about Sarah, and they both took deep breaths and got serious on me. We don't want you seeing her anymore, Dad said. But she's my best friend, I protested. Mom took one look at me and I could tell what she was thinking. What kind of best friend nearly kills you? Then you'll have to find a new friend, Dad said. We're serious this time, Ryan. If you can't stay away from each other, we'll move. I'll transfer to the city and we'll sell the house. We don't want to, but we will. What are you saying? We're saying that you can't see Sarah anymore, said my mother. You're not going to contact her, no email, no phone calls, and she won't be coming around when we get home. Her parents agree with us. It's the best thing for a while. The best thing for who? You were out in the woods in the middle of the night, breaking into private property, said my dad. He was talking more than usual, and for once I wish he'd shut up. You nearly fell to your death. I think it's fair to say that keeping her away from you is best for everyone, including you. It wasn't her fault this time. It was me. It was my idea. All the more reason to keep you two apart. My dad was on a roll. Both of your brains go batty when you're together. There's talk in Skeleton Creek of burning that dredge to the ground. The police spent a whole day down there locking it up tight so no one else tries to get in. That thing is a death trap. After that, my parents went quiet. Neither of them are talkative folks. No one who lives in Skeleton Creek talks very much. They'd laid down the law about Sarah, and that was that. I had to stay there in the hospital for another 10 days. I couldn't get online, and my parents wouldn't let me use the phone. What would they do if they knew Sarah was contacting me? They'd sell the house. That's what they do. But there's something in that dredge. She's recorded it twice now. I can't tell my parents, but who doesn't tell their parents about something like this? I don't know what I'm going to do.